What's poppin', y'all? It's Cartier Rob.
It's Type 4.
And we're back here with another illustrious episode of the Play No Games podcast. Skeleton Crew.
Yeah, we're just rocking solo. The Fat Dragon doesn't fuck with us anymore. And the other backseat critic, he said he caught swine flu. No, I'm playing. No, but RJ, rest up. Hope you feel better, bro.
Yeah, and for you guys both, even though this will definitely come out before you guys do it, but no, sending y'all the best wishes. You guys have a big goal to accomplish next Wednesday, and I know y'all gonna do it. Hit the coast, and it's gonna be some top tier shit. Yep. You know what else is some top tier shit?
I'm gonna guess a game, but I can't remember the name of it.
Well, I don't play no games on this show.
You don't.
So, Tay, what are you playing no games about?
Damn, I hate when you ask me because I always I feel like I come into or over the weekend I'll think of some creative ass shit I'm gonna fuck them up this week, and then
I'm gonna fuck them up this week.
I'll just go blank. I'll play no games about the fact that The Chi is literally just a show of very toxic individuals in terms of their relationships.
I'm unfamiliar.
You've never seen The Chi before? Oh. Well, I watched it years ago. Probably stopped after season 2. I got a friend asked me if I was watching it. I started watching it again and been binge watching the last 2 weeks or so. I've gone through 3 seasons. Mm-hmm. So it's a pretty good show. Very toxic individuals though. You should watch it. Very black centered. A lot of family dynamics.
This makes me kind of want to flip to one of our topics today, but I'll save that for that. Look at me. Haha. Cause we don't have the crew over there. What I'm playing on games about is literally there's this cause you know how in Donald Trump is cut funding to PBS, and I saw this video cause I do follow the real D.L. Hughley. Sometimes he be wildin', sometimes, but I guess they replaced PBS with this Christopher Columbus type of a dude, and it's a cartoon for kids, and it's literally Christopher Columbus being slavery is not a big thing. Slavery was done by everyone around the world, so it was the happening thing to do back in the day. And I said, man, I was like, damn, we
I mean, see, here's the thing. They're not all the way lying, but it is still a fucked up thing to do.
Exactly. But when we talk about where the country's kind of going, it's just kind of.
We should never. Let me preface this too. We should never put a strength-based spin on this transatlantic slave trade.
Thank you. That's exactly, and it's just how you just can't imagine certain things where I'm man, they just hit Sesame Street slavery. I was how as an animator, you thought that shit was cool.
Yeah.
And the same look as the Christopher Columbus, it's not a big deal. And I was like, damn. More than ever, make sure your kids are learning about their history. School ain't gonna get it done.
Scratch what I said earlier. I just thought about something I actually play no games about. All right, the fact that you should always dress appropriately for the weather. Now, based off of, I'm wearing a t-shirt and some shorts. Rob has a full-on Tex fleece and some camo pants. And
AOD, Nike.
You may not ever be able to guess what the weather is outside today. I'm just, let you on a little hint. It's 90.
So, in the studio, there's this thing called air conditioning. So it's been running. So it's like a winter wonderland in here.
It's really not that cold.
It's cold.
We all ask the rest of the staff. We all be burning up in this motherfucker.
Wow. Are you saying that I'm that type of a guy?
I'll say that you and Julius from Everybody Hates Chris have a lot in common. I'm gonna guess.
Hey, the way these things are going in the current climate,
there's a lady from Minnesota that has told me before that you definitely have couch surfed looking for pennies before. No, fucking with you.
No. I actually think that's quite funny. I'll just say this.
What's the cheapest shit you ever have done?
That's actually I gotta think about what's the cheapest shit I've ever done before. Let me think on that.
I mean, beyond like regular nigga shit, like pouring water in soap containers, and when you too lazy to go get a new thing.
Oh damn, that's actually a good one. Let me think on that one. Because I want to do it as a homeowner, not like back in the day. Because I was like, there's some shit I've
wealth
investments.
Yep.
I think I might be first. And speaking of investments, I think I might be first.
Yes, you are with Shedeur.
Exactly. When you invest and bet on yourself, when you have, I think it's called the Showtime clause in your contract, you just produce. Shedeur fucking Sanders. Like, let me just say this. The reason why I enjoy player following more than organization following is because it's a fucking story sometimes. I know organizations have stories, but when people have stories, you just know how to... It's just getting behind the story.
You're a wrestling fan, aren't you?
Yeah.
I could tell.
I used to.
No, you are.
But what? No.
Continue.
I stopped watching wrestling when I found out it was fake.
How old were you?
I was like... I think it was like 13, 14.
You couldn't tell before that?
I couldn't.
That's crazy.
So recently, preseason, not too many people watched the NFL preseason, but the reason why we're watching it is due to
those games be sold out.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, my ignorance. Meaning, at least I feel like it's at least the preseason from my football knowledge has been more broadcast. And we had Shedeur Sanders, who's playing for the Browns organization, and on top of playing for the Browns organization, he was drafted in the fifth round to a 3-team quarterback. Four. Now 5.
They have 4 quarterbacks.
Now 5. They recently signed that one dude.
What one dude? Oh yeah, I can't remember.
Anywho,
yeah.
My only point of bringing it up because I'm going to smush this down just in case you don't know what's going on. So pretty much, Shedeur Sanders had a great year at Colorado. Draft stock fell. Drafted by the Browns, and there was a lot of discrepancy during camp if he's actually, top tier quarterback, QB1, QB2. He's actually competing with the, fellow compatriot, and then he actually got the ability to start due to injuries. And a lot of people were thinking Shedeur was actually set up to fail. And when he came on that fucking field, he did what every good underdog black man story is. He persevered.
Is he allowed to qualify as an underdog?
Yeah. Hell yeah. To the machine, to the NFL. But no, I'm going to pause. Why are you going there?
Only because, you can't help who your parents are. But, he has been around certain football minds his entire life. He's went to some of the best schools in the country as a youth and has had, ample resources to prepare himself for this moment. So I understand he went through the whole which was probably collusion to have his stock fall, but I wouldn't say he's necessarily an underdog. When I think of underdogs, I'm thinking I don't know, fucking Brock Purdy or some shit. That ass though, literally being Mr. Irrelevant. Nobody gives a damn about you. You're not getting talked about at all, and then somehow you're able to spend that into, $250 million on your contract.
So I think even the underdog story, there's a spectrum to it, and I think when you look at the Shedeur Sanders story, yeah,
and also people don't, for the most part, don't doubt whether or not he should be in the NFL. It's just, I think motherfuckers are trying to curb the other shit that, unfortunately, that just comes
the
with
machine.
What comes with him, yeah.
But I think that to me, where we kind of talk about the system, right? Because when you kind of look at the system as a black person, where it's kind of man, Shedeur, because of his family, has found ways to persevere. He's working with the greatest football minds, yada yada. But the NFL has always been that exclusionary club where you can only get so far. So having someone to actually personify the fight that we're having right now, being you're only supposed to be like this, you're supposed to only stay in that place. That's why to me I'm this is an underdog story, because you can, even though if we take away how he started, it's truly the battle that most black disenfranchised people go through. Like, man, these people are finding every which way to make sure that I don't win. Difficulty already on 10.
Mm-hmm. I'll let it rock, but
no. This is why I think it was in the circuit.
Like, I'm gonna just say this, all right? And I get what you're alluding.
Say it.
I get what you're alluding to, right? But like, who's somebody recently, right? Coming into the draft, Lamar Jackson was a Heisman winner, had an electrifying career at Louisville, right? His fight with why he slid in the draft is not the same fight that Shedeur is fighting.
I agree.
Two completely different things.
I agree.
And Lamar's is closer to what has been the plight of black quarterbacks, to them saying like, oh, you need to switch positions. Do you have the mental acumen to process information and read defenses? You know, this, that, and third. Why does he wear his hair this way? Why does he talk like this way? Why is he wearing grills? You know, X, Y, Z. Asking shit about the background and, you know, the upbringing of different people. Whereas with Shedeur is I mean, it's still some of that good old boy type of policing, but it just is a different tone and connotation to it, to me, slightly.
Okay, I take it as this, where it's kind of like the trauma Olympics. Nobody wins. Like, you're always going to find a story that's more, where it's kind of like, I'm not going to push back too much on that with the Lamar Jackson piece. And I can actually see that too. And I actually, to be honest with you, I do actually kind of remember them like questioning it, like his literacy. I actually do remember that. I think when we kind of like, in this day and age where like we're tied to like a lot of hope and like just wanting like something to rally behind, it's almost kind of like the recency bias, where it's kind of like, I don't doubt people don't remember or think about Lamar Jackson. It's just because the Shedeur thing is so blatant and it's in our face like right now.
And I think his shit is more so, this is the first time I damn near won't say ever, but you know, in recent memory, that they've had a black athlete at that position come to the league and really realistically be able to say, I don't need this.
Yes. So you have a football eye. My question is,
starter, not star.
Really?
I don't think he's a star. I think
How
he's
so?
a starter. Well, I just don't think he's a star.
No. So, okay, what's the difference between starter and star? Where like I'm assuming the star has like the it factor. So you don't think he has the it factor?
Wait, say that again. Sorry.
You don't think he has the it factor? Because the difference between star and starter, I'm assuming it has to be like that pizzazz, that it.
With what you're saying, I'm receiving it as like charismatic shit. But I'm assuming that's not what you mean. Really, the difference is, all right. So like, if you want me to do like a player comparison,
yeah.
I think it's much more likely he's Dak Prescott than he is Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
And there's nothing wrong with being Dak or Baker Mayfield. You know, these guys are going to start 10 plus years, make a lot of money, win a lot of games.
So would you qualify Jalen Hurts as a starter?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
And Jalen's weird because I think he does sometimes receive a little bit too much, I won't say critique, but it's kind of one of those things, kind of like a Brock Purdy. If I take away all these different like shiny toys from around you, would this offense still look the same just on your back, as opposed to you having a all-pro wide receiver on one end, probably the best number 2 in the league, the best running back in the league, top 5 tight end, and
you mad at me because that's what's
and Hall of Famers across the O-line, and then a defense that's top 10 in the league.
Hey man, I'm just doing my job.
Yeah, no, it's not. But then I look at other quarterbacks who are asked to do more with less.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and I think
like Pat had me, you, and RJ playing wide receiver this year.
Hey, I'm catching one.
What?
Pat Mahomes throws me the ball, I'm gonna catch a ball. Are you talking about Patrick Mahomes? Yeah.
That was crazy wording. Continue.
Now, the reason why I brought up Jalen is because, and you have to correct me if I'm wrong, I think Shedeur was doing this with less. And when I mean less, he was doing it with the second and third string teams, right?
Yeah. So for the most part, they're second string players on offense were playing because they had a lot of injuries on the offensive side of the ball. Not taking anything away from it, they were playing.
Yeah.
They were playing the Carolina Panthers, who are still trying to spin stuff around.
So I've heard.
Post Cam Newton, but he looked pretty good though. Especially like in the red zone. He threaded the needle on one. I want to say it was a crossing route to like the left end of the end zone, and he had maybe like 3 feet. If it had been off by a yard, that would have been an interception going the other way. So I like the confidence. It was a little ballsy, but you gotta be aggressive.
So you're actually the perfect person I want to ask this. Like, in like a different reality, different universe. Hell, you might even do this now in this reality. I can see you being like a player agent, like the Rich Paul. Like
that was actually like growing up. That was the first job I ever wanted to have.
Swear,
yeah.
I could just how you carry yourself and how you talk about things. I can see you in the meetings arguing for Micah Parsons' contract.
Oh shit!
I can see you doing that shit. Like, Jerry, God damn it, this shit ain't working.
Yeah.
But my question, what I kind of want to ask you is, when it comes to Shedeur, when it comes to his brand, his swag, what do you think he should be doing when it comes to the Brown season, the Brown season, how he started? Like, how should he take this momentum into the season?
Always be yourself. I wouldn't compromise who I am as a person in this situation, but he needs to be making as minimal noise as possible. Because truthfully, anytime you step on the field or you do anything in professional sports, you're not just playing for your team, you're auditioning for any other team that may want to sign you or trade for you. So how he carries himself like this next year is going to be very critical, because like say a team like the Rams, they get to say week 4, Matthew Stafford still's in the back and Jimmy G is hurt, or dealing with some nagging injuries, be able to play through it. They may fuck around and say, hey, you went in the 5th round this past draft, we want to hit the Browns, you guys want a 4th rounder for him? So, I would, just keep my head down, keep working hard in camp, continue to ingratiate yourself amongst your teammates. He seems pretty well liked to run the locker room.
He does.
And yeah, just stay out of trouble for the most part.
My last point, at least with this, at least just bringing it up, is I thought afterwards, besides just like the basic press conference things of that manner, I think him going to that one reporter and be like, "Oh, you don't talk," I think it was just too soon.
See, the thing that saves him, it's almost like a Magic Johnson effect. He has a pause, but he has a very nice smile that like kind of like
what?
If I say pause, come on, G. But you see, you fucking up the clip right now. But he has a nice smile that like kind of brings a room together in a sense. And he's very charismatic. So I like to say like, yeah, hold up, come here. Yeah, motherfucker, you talking like my goddamn shit, huh? But then the smile softens the blow a little bit, and that's why they were able to let I'm shooting shit with you, but like I'm serious. Like
cut that shit out,
cut it down. Now if he were a little bit more stoic, like now Dak wouldn't do this, but say if he had like the demeanor of a Dak, and then Dak was pressing somebody like that, yeah, it might be received a little different. Or even though Lamar can be funny, I think if Lamar were to do that, it probably wouldn't be received the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he speaks pretty well.
And
yeah, he's always laughing and shit and smiling. So,
hey, young king, rumble. Hey, hell, if you even see this, man, keep doing that shit. I'll just say, I got the highlights, but I was like, keep sticking it to him, man.
Balls. Yeah. Anyways, speaking of brothers doing a lot of good things in professional sports, did you see that clip I sent you from Club 520?
Man, literally, when I say my childhood was sent to me.
No, you want to hear? Your brother used to do that to you?
No, like, bro, that's literally how I grew up or be like they'd be just like you'll be enjoying yourself, and then you be having a bowl of cereal. I mean, like
the backhanded compliment.
They'd be like, yeah, you know what's large? Whales, and then everybody just look at you, just be like, God damn it, you son of a bitch! Like, do you really need that cake? That kind of shit.
Oh damn, that's fucked up. Damn, Johnny. But nah, just to get the people up to speed. Forward for the Brooklyn Nets now, Micheal Porter Jr. He was on the Club 520. Oh, actually, no, I think they may have just pulled the clip from him doing an interview elsewhere.
They pulled it
from elsewhere. But basically, he was just talking about the landscape of gambling in the NBA today and how it's very easy to kind of get pulled into some of his stuff. He was referencing his brother's situation, Jonte Porter, how he's been banned from the NBA because he was caught betting on parlays. And you got people like Malik Beasley with his situation. Terry Rozier was under a probe a little bit ago.
Damn.
And he was just explaining how a lot of people have different vices. It's like sometimes people just have different vices. I was blessed to have a lot of money and be blessed to play this game at a high level. So money's never been an issue for me. So I don't have to do some of the stuff my brother does. But my vice is women. Women are just I always have women. So that I wasn't blessed with the ability to be married. It was kind of the most backhanded. Like my brother's gets no bitches. That's while he's married, but he's broke and I'm up. When I sent you that clip, how'd you receive that?
Bro, I want you to know I had a hearty, genuine laugh because that shit was funny because it was the natural, he's being serious, but he's like, I get bitches, but you know how that man, that's an ARPP nigga. He needs some help, call 911. I was like, what? Well, I have one serious point, but I was like, God damn, I'm like, Michael, he's already down. You know how in that one zombie movie they say, oh, he's double tap?
Oh, Zombieland?
Yeah. Double tap.
Yeah, that was crazy word.
So, before we get serious, what do you have a vice? What's a vice? What's a vice for you?
Currently or previously?
You know what? Dealer's choice.
Okay. I'll do both. Currently, probably sweets. Sweets, probably.
Okay.
I ain't gonna lie. Had to learn something about myself in my mid 20s. I feel like I probably only discovered it for in the last 2 years. Women used to be my vice. I ain't gonna lie.
Okay.
Yeah. It wasn't really healthy. Anytime I was going through some shit, I was like, all right, let me just link with a woman.
Okay.
It took a little bit growing up to realize, all right, maybe I just need to sit with my own thoughts and not,
Yeah. You have to grow up, you know what I'm saying? Not me, took that little sensi bean, you have to grow up. I would say for me, a vice for me in the past, believe it or not, have to be Sour Patch Kids. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually kind of weaning myself off them. I'm finding different alternatives, so I'll say that. And then I would say, what's something in the past I used to I shouldn't do. I want to make it good. I think I can't say that. One of my vices would have to be
this pod is not gonna work if you don't peel back the layers. I always expose different elements of my life on here, and you're just even look what you just came back with. I said women used to be one of my vices. You're like, oh yeah, Sour Patch Kids.
I'm trying to give you a big one because I'm kind of man, well, it used to be one of my
She not gonna get on your ass for anything retroactively, or shouldn't at least. Come on.
Okay, I would say in the past one of my vices was,
See, I might have just said women, but that's great. Yeah.
If only reason I would say that is, back in the day, it may not look at I was a little chunky, and no other girls gave me the most attention ever, but Latinas. So I had a point where I was like, oh, I'm probably gonna end up dating a Latina woman because Latina women, always fuck with me. It was just that gravitational pull, and it was the struggle because if I was hungry, they didn't mind.
Well, part of crazy. What part of your life? What part of your life was this?
Man, this was like college life. I would say college right up to. I would say college right up to maybe like out of graduate school.
And what was the racial demographics like at UFO?
We had some bad shotties there. We had some bad shotties there.
That's not what I asked.
But I would say on campus, diverse. When I say
very, very coded language. Boy, you should work at academia. Motherfuckers, we're diverse. We got 1% representation, like 7 different races.
But where I was moving and grooving, right? Where I was moving and grooving, I was able to see a palette.
Let's do percentages. What are we saying right now?
Anywho, I will just say that
I'm genuinely asking right now. Like percentages, if you had to say.
I would say percentages because I think for me, like I think for most guys, you like I can notice it like a beautiful woman, but like when you are out in the crowd, it's almost kind of like you have like a green card, so you're gonna see green card. So like a lot of
what'd you say?
When you have like a green car and like you see a lot of green cars.
Oh,
did I say green card?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No. Green car, meaning like. My type has always been black women, Latinas, and like when I'm out and about, I would be like, my recency would be looking for that.
So as far as black people on campus, what was it? What, like 5%?
Okay, it was low.
Okay, low. We keep on like.
It was low.
Your step way.
It was low, but it wasn't low enough where I couldn't find none. I like had like Dragon Ball Z.
Go like the BSU. So what
exactly.
Boy, that sound like hell.
Not, I don't know how you feel, as an Oregon cat, where it's kind of like, yeah, I know, like, or actually, I'll be honest with you, where it's kind of like being in Oregon, like, I know around a lot of white people, but it's almost, to me, it's like the sea, where it's like, it's just water. I'm like, I'm expected to see that. But like, when I see somebody that's not the sea, I'm like, oh, hell yeah. Like, I pay more attention to that. So I'm already like, so
that's pretty good outlook.
So that's just me. But bringing it back forward is, yeah, man. Tay, don't ever do something like that to me, man. Don't ever throw me on the bus like that. That Micheal Porter, you can't be doing that to your brother. He's already catching a case.
Yeah. But I guess it's always little brother, big brother type dynamics,
which I don't get. If I had a younger brother, I would be throwing him like.
I think Michael's actually older.
Michael's older?
Yeah, I could be wrong.
We would have someone fact check this, but while he's looking it up, I would just say like Michael needs to be careful. I get his nigga intentions behind talking about vices. It takes a very vulnerable person to do that, but also,
Mike is older.
Okay, I still think he almost kind of incriminated himself when he said the statement of, "Oh yeah, I just text my friends and like, I ever have low numbers, I can bring my friends up. If I'm the lead, Adam Silver, I'm like, let me look at some of your games, nigga. No wonder why Denver traded you, cause he was a part of this shit. But that's just me.
Yeah. But last topic for this block though, still continuing to talk about professional athletes. Yeah. So. USA track team hero had a bit of an incident in SeaTac Airport this past weekend, I believe. The person I'm referring to is Sha'Carri Richardson. She had a domestic dispute with her boyfriend that led to her mushing him and pushing him in the airport, and TSA had to get involved. You saw the video, Rob. What were your initial thoughts?
Man, there is a strong double standard in the world we live in when it comes to, I saw actually two things. I saw a young man handling his business correctly, and then I saw an out of control person lying, scheming, and not taking accountability.
I concur. It was kind of just interesting to me, one, the response to all this shit, because God forbid it had been the other way around. I think that would have been flooded all over my timeline. It's been pretty quiet, truthfully. And secondly, here's this. When her boyfriend had de-escalated the situation, I don't know if you saw it, and was talking to the police, The police agreed to just let them get on the flight together. They couldn't sit next to each other, but he wasn't going to arrest her at that point. She was detained, but she didn't have to go to jail. And then she comes over and then shoots the conversation back up. I'm like, dog, like, you got to get away from her. And this is I love Sha'Carri as an athlete, but that's the type of shit that can wind you up in unfortunate situations. Somebody who can't keep themselves composed when the police are around.
So you actually kind of speak into a situation where the game is the game, or, you know, all's fair in love and war. The reason why I bring that up and I say that like that is, like, if you know someone's going through a hard time, does that make them undateable? Does that make them not have the ability to vote? Meaning, let me just finish. Okay. Meaning, yes, I would say probability. You're right. I would say 80% of that probability. But what if this was the final thing to finally make her pivot and turn to? Because sometimes you have to rock with people. Now, I'm not saying you have to rock with people through domestic violence or anything like that. But sometimes what's the barrier of, like, I'm going to work through this stuff with this person? And I know that situation is clunky. And the reason why I say it's clunky is because when it's a woman to a man, like, and we'll talk about this. I do have one point on this. I do want to talk about after you get this point. It's like, I do want to talk about the comment section when this first happened for the video. Yeah. But that's why I have to say is, where it's kind of like, yeah, you should run away, but I don't know, maybe this is his person. But that's all I at least have to say about that.
Okay, so here's the thing. I do hear you in terms of, like, not necessarily just, you know, jumping ship on somebody when they have, like, a bad moment.
Yeah.
With that, though, we're both black.
Yeah.
And whether your parents taught you or life had to teach you, there's a certain way you have to carry yourself as a black American in this country when police are involved in a situation.
Yeah.
I can't be with anybody who's going to escalate situations where law enforcement are around, because that can end up with me in a body bag.
It's true.
Because all it takes is for that officer to have a bad day. They see y'all yelling, shit getting out of hand, and all of a sudden a gun gets pulled out and a bullet ain't got no name on it. And at that point, you're putting my livelihood at risk because you can't calm the fuck down.
I was debating if I was going to talk about this on the show. I really was. I was going to what I was playing on games about. I've recently taken this challenge of trying to do, like, praying 3 times a day. And then, you know, setting my intention to read, you know, scripture at least once a week. So, you know, doing this new thing, and stay with me, I end up missing going to church. And, like, I was really beating up on myself about, like, oh, I'm supposed to go to church. But
my sermon was right this week.
Okay.
Right.
Meaning, right?
Yeah.
So I'm on the bridge. I'm finishing up the Eric Thompson sermon. Thomas. And, like, as I'm literally, like...
Wait, you say his sermon?
Yeah. He's a preacher.
Since when the fuck did he start preaching?
Bro, he's been preaching. Bro, he's been on fire the last 3 weeks.
Who gave this nigga... When did he start preaching?
Bro, I don't know when he started, but he's preaching.
All right, bro.
Okay, so
continue.
Get this. So literally, I'm like, oh, I should have went to church. Walking down, this old man is walking up the road, right? Old man's walking up the road, and on the bridge, so, like, bridge traffic. There's a lot of, like, people, and, like, I'm like, first glance, I thought he's houseless, but he's not. But, like, he's like a legitimate old man. I don't think he knows where he's going. So long story short, I helped this man over the overpass, things like that. People are honking, all this other stuff, and then right when I lift the old man over the overpass, the police pull up, and, like, I haven't had my heart, like, sink in my chest in, like, a little bit, and I was kind of like, fuck. And, like, the reason why I'm saying I connect that dot is because, like, even though I wasn't doing anything wrong, and I was trying to help this old dude not get caught up in traffic, I was so, like, I was thinking about all the things I've seen on Instagram, things like that, and I was like, all right, how am I going to talk to this person? Like, how am I going to not, like, so I only say that to, I do agree with you. I do hear, I do, and I think that's a right, and I hate to say it like this, but it is a disgusting rite of passage that, you know, as black men and black and brown folks, we have to go through. Like, we do have to talk to the police differently. And I even noticed myself, I'm like, oh, no sir. You know, he was pretty chill dude, but it's almost kind of like I wanted to like be sure because I don't want no fuck shit.
And it ain't about being no bitch. It's just I got one rule. I gotta make it home.
And could you actually speak to that? Because I think that comes with a situation where it's kind of like I appreciate the young man being stoic, and I think people forget about that. Where it's kind of like pride gets in the way of that, and I feel like that what that man did was more manly. He's actually speaking more than that. That's powerful.
Yeah, people can kind of get caught up with that shit, allowing either the optics of how they may be perceived or their pride, as you alluded to, get them to going back and forth and like getting contentious with police officers. I'm not going to be yelling at any high tone. I'm not going to be fidgeting around with my body or anything like that when a police officer is in my direct purview. It's going to be very stoic, as you said. Yes, officer. Straight to the point. We're not going to be dancing around these questions and stuff. Not going to say anything to incriminate myself, but my whole objective is to just make sure they know I am not a threat and that I just want to go home.
Appreciate you saying that, because now as we turn the table, we watch from start to finish how she caused the scene, she lied to officers, and then after the backlash, she took accountability. Meaning, I definitely think
PR team called. No, I'm playing.
I definitely think fame plays a factor into this. I definitely think trauma plays a factor into it. But I think what a lot of people don't understand is accountability is actually super therapeutic, where it's kind of like the most disgusting thing I actually saw was like the comments before whomever at TMZ released it. They were like, oh, this guy probably deserved it, or this. I'm like, yeah, we could talk about Sha'Carri, but I think a lot of people have this like sickness, and it goes back to what Whoopi Goldberg always said: everyone keep your hands to yourself. You run across the wrong man, or sometimes you run across the wrong woman, where it's kind of like a lot of these things can be taken care of, talked about through stoicism and just mutual respect.
And that just needs to be more normalized in today's day and age of like dating. Whether it's men, women, or however you may identify, just keep your damn hands to yourself.
Yeah.
And if you feel like you're at the point where you need to put your hands on your partner, just walk out the room or leave them straight up.
And that says more about you than them, because you don't need to put your hands on someone to like
get your point
across. Like even you can get your point across to a lot of people with eyes and intention. That's happened during the podcast and a lot of different things. I was gonna say the other thing, then we're like pause, but to like be serious, I'm actually mad disappointed in Sha'Carri, because going back to the Shedeur thing, there's a lot of people holding her back, and as the community we had her back, where it's kind of like, I know we put too much stock in celebrities and the athletes, but it's kind of like,
not here though, because she had built up a little bit of good stock again after she had some different situations, and now like you have another thing popping up when the mass media already are trying to paint you a certain way.
And I think that's the part that, and this is my last little bit of like just black community type shit we can talk about. It's kind of like, it's just almost kind of like you need to make it home. It's almost kind of like where we need to elevate, and I think as a culture we know where we got to try to elevate.
For sure. So, but let's elevate our energy in the second half of this episode. We're gonna go on a quick break though, just to recharge. Be right back, y'all. What's up, y'all? We back. There's another episode of trying to get ourselves canceled. So we're going to dive into a topic that kind of popped off recently.
Men are horrible.
Yeah. Do that. It's a good buffer.
Yeah, men are horrible.
Boo, black men. Boo. Yeah. But anyways, topic that kind of popped off recently. R&B singer Ari Lennox has some comments. Is this not recording?
No, you're good. You're good.
Just making sure about the show, famous sitcom Martin, And she just, in her comments, she alluded to the fact that, you know, she kind of always felt a little bit off-put, feeling as though the comedy and jokes directed towards Sheena Arnold's character, Pam, were racially motivated, and that there was, you know, undertones of colorism that were prevalent throughout the show in terms of like how Pam was addressed by other characters. There's been a big divide on social media with, you know, the reaction to these comments. Rob, what were your thoughts when you first heard about it?
Too many woke people need to go to sleep. Too many woke people need to go to sleep. And it's kind of like, I'll be honest with you, I feel like it's pure boredom, if I'm being honest with you. Or I'm actually disappointed in Ari a little bit. And I would just say it's like, to me, it's weird. Where I think people, it's almost kind of like, ooh, stay with me. I think people only have two vocabulary words. It's either peak or it's mid. There's no in between. Like, anything you watch has flaws in it. Like, I'm eventually, I promise you, and we'll talk, I'm gonna watch The Penguin. I'm gonna get caught up. I trust your judgment. I actually think, from all the reactions I've like loosely heard, I think it's actually like peak material. I think it's probably up there. But that doesn't make like I'm trying to think of like a truly mid show, like the Disney Falcon and Winter Soldier. That's, to me, is like mid, but it's still palatable. But like, people may call that like it sucks. I would probably give that a solid 6.5, 6, meaning when it comes to things that you don't like, and like sensitivity, where it's kind of like with the whole Ari thing, where it's like, you can just not like this and it can be really good, and that's okay. So
I'll say, I mean, you didn't ask me no question, like to talk it back, you know, whatever. For me, I'll say this: I'm never going to tell anybody how they should or should not feel. Sheena Arnold has already kind of spoken on stuff related to this, saying that she never felt as though her character was attacked for her skin complexion, and to my recollection, I don't remember Pam ever being attacked about that. I'll say this though. It's just kind of weird to me how, like, if folks feel this way, or, you know, the community is vocal about this, then you can't separate Martin from the content within the show.
No.
Because he did write on the show. This is a show that he's the lead in, and he's the one whose most of Pam's jokes were coming from. So then if you feel as though, you know, these jokes were derogatory or anything, then like, I would think there would be a call to hold him accountable, as, you know, in the last, say, 15 to 10 years, we like to do with every other thing we'd like to cancel. So like, I don't know, it's weird. This is like the one time people are trying to like separate stuff, because I think they have an affinity for Martin Lawrence, which, I mean, a lot of us do.
Yeah.
But if you feel this strongly about it, stop watching the show, and also get on his ass, as you would if it was, you know, a person who didn't look like Martin.
But that goes into like her response, where like, I feel like she got like a decent amount of backlash, and she was like, oh, this is my opinion. I feel like when people say, it's almost kind of like, we have this podcast, like, somebody's gonna disagree with us, and, you know, it's a part of the game. But I also can't like do like the pew pew and then like hide if, like, you know, if Nicki Minaj be like, why y'all talking about me? Like, we don't have to, you gotta
stand on it.
You gotta stand on it. And like, that's my point of view, and like, I'm willing to have that dialogue. But like, when you say like, oh, it's just my opinion, you are running from the debate or the conversation, because, oh, you should be able to have that because you put it out there on the internet. I think like the sad thing about it is like, even in her video, she kind of contradicts herself, where she's like, oh, I don't like when people are jokey or like, or make fun of people or bully people or things of that manner. But then in that whole statement, she also talked about like, if I go there, I'm gonna drag somebody. Usually when people say I'm gonna drag you, it's either physical or you're gonna talk some shit about people. So if you go at this Gandhi nonviolence, you know, BS, that's a walking contradiction, meaning like, to me, you're just bored. Like, you're just finding something to pick at.
Mm-hmm.
So I think with her, I think she's just like very confused and like I'm not just saying, because I want to make sure say this. I'm not saying that the stereotypical trope. I think Ari Lennox, sometimes I feel like she has difficult energy person-itis, where like I feel like you'll say one thing to her and she'll be like, but you really meant this, and you're like, no, this is what I mean. But she's like, I feel, and like there are just this thing of super sensitive people. Now, my question is to you, do you think is her just being overly sensitive, or do you actually think Martin was picking on dark-skinned women?
Now, see, this is a setup where he's going to try to clip this, and I know he's going to post me to protect his own ass. But,
I didn't tag you in today's.
I'll entertain him, though. All right. So,
I didn't tag you in today's.
I'll entertain him. Come on. So we're here. If you're asking my own personal opinion, no, I don't believe Martin was targeting Pam per se due to the complexion of her color. The dynamics of their relationship to me mirrored most that I've seen within our community, where you're dating a woman and you and her close friend, get a rapport. We're like, I don't like your little ugly ass, right? But it's kind of on some brother sister shit. It's all I love. And there's even been at least one episode I can recall. I can't remember like the scenario in my head where this other woman was trying to shoot or talk shit about Pam, and Martin was like, hold on. I can say that about little ugly ass, not you, right? So there's that. But I also say this as somebody who has a sister who is darker complexion and also a mother. So I do or am aware that there, through media, whether it be like TV, movies, or whatever like the medium may be, there are undertones as far as like how darker complexion black women can be portrayed. Whether it be, comments about their hair, how aggressive they are, like, damn, your ass is strong, shit like that, right? And so a lot of it is based in colorism. Do I think this is necessarily the best example of that? No. But, how she feels is how she feels. I'm not going to dishonor that. I just don't agree with it. But as a light-skinned man, that's not necessarily my place to say how someone is receiving stuff.
Yeah. But also, then she came for Bernie Mac. I was like, now I know you just fucking around. Because, like, at the end of, like, maybe I'm biased and maybe I'm just looking at life through my own rose-colored glasses. Where, like, those shows are a staple show to tell us about the orientation of family. And, like, for me, maybe it's just me. I wasn't looking at, like, all right, Carlton's this color, Hillary's this color, like I felt like it was just a family trying to be a family. And I just know in black culture, humor is like one of our cultural staples, where it's kind of like,
and I know we're not a monolith, but a lot of us, we do shoot the shit with our family.
And I'm just kind of like, where's the cognitive flexibility, where it's like so many people they want you to hold your hand, come here, all right, just do this and you do this. Sometimes you gotta like,
was that a shot?
No. No.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to bleep that out because thank you. Meaning, come here, little Terry. Where it's kind of like, a good show sometimes is there won't be a good ending. And you have to fill in the blanks. And I feel like, rightfully so, when we look at dark-skinned women, the world has so many times left them to fill in the blank that sometimes I think you can reach and overanalyze. And when you overanalyze stuff, sometimes you miss the love or you miss the intention behind what was going on. And I feel like with those two shows, the Bernie Mac show grew me up. Jamie Foxx show, Martin, Fresh Prince, where I was kind of like, I feel like they're all trying to teach us that lesson of just like, not just humor, but being a family and having friends. Like, never once did I feel like, to be honest with you, I feel like I was most exposed to like colorism and things like that, not from like sitcoms, but more from like, I would say more like music and like going to school. Like, I'm like, all right, Redbone, what's that? And then the dude was like, scratch scratch your wrist. That's a red bar. I was like, okay. I remember that in middle school. I was like, you want a red? I was like, I remember like, what's the difference? Where it's like, I was like, all right. But like, I've always taken those things as a matter of fact, because actually looking at my whole family, we have like almost like all shades of, black spectrum. I've seen like on the regular. So like, my type and preferences, been whatever, but it's like, no, those shows that's a staple for the community. So I actually will fight that. So I disagree with her heavily. So.
Word. Well, hopefully that woman finds healing, and no, it'd actually be dope if her and Martin could like have a conversation about the content.
I wonder what she's gonna say about leaving Dreamville.
Probably nothing, honestly.
J. Cole, please.
Yeah, I don't think she'll say anything for real.
I just don't. Besides J. Cole leaving the rap battle,
we're not gonna turn this into Ari Lennox drag. So
we're
not gonna turn this into a drag Ari Lennox.
No.
All right.
No. What? No, I haven't. Anyway, I just hope, because J. Cole has already, he left the rap battle. That kind of like hurt me. I'm like, come on, nigga, you can't fucking do that. I would just hate for him to do some poo shiesty shit to her. To be like, Cole, come on. But that's all.
What you mean about poo shiesty shit?
Being like, bad label deal, because I feel like, the reason why she left, I just hope,
I mean, he's cashed out most of the artists.
Yeah, I think Jid, hopefully I'm saying it, JID.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'd be butchering people's names. Y'all know that by now. But it's like, I feel like he was given praise. So I just hope.
Him and Boss.
I just hope there's no like icky stuff. Yeah. So hopefully, they seem to be on talking terms and shit like that. But most importantly, before we get out here, Black women, we love them.
That we do.
Umar is losing. His accounts are frozen. So we're going to have to step up and let us know that, you black queens are protected. This is a show. We protect black queens over here.
We do. Umar reference was crazy. But, it's been a good episode. If you made it this far, please, thank you for this. Please continue to watch, and thank you for the support. As always, like, comment, subscribe. I'm Tay Ford. And this is Mr. or whatever.
It's your favorite Cartier.
All right. See y'all next week.
Peace. Da-na-na. Da-na.